Mi gente, ¿cómo estamos? I gotta be honest with you. Sometimes I come on here and I just watch people just lie about professional wrestling, and I, I find it very odd. I've seen people come on here and tell us that Roman Reigns is a terrible in-ring performer, that he's awful, he can't work. And I thought to myself, is this a real opinion? Or are you just mad at his heel character because he's not giving you what you want? Now, I've heard everybody say, well, he can't win a match on his own. He needs Solo. He needs Jimmy. Or Jay when he used to be a part of the Bloodline. Or Sammy. And I've thought to myself, hey man, have you guys ever heard the podcast that had Finn Balor on it? Back in the day, Finn Balor, I believe he was on the Talk is Jericho podcast. And he talks about this exact thing. He said in Japan, he was one of the most over superstars ever. But he had decided he had reached the limits as a babyface character. So he was going to go heel. And he tried to go heel, and initially it was a failure. Right off the bat, it was a failure. So he decided, I'm going to strip the character down to nothing and build it in front of a live audience. If you like the coup de grace, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm doing the 1916. If you like me to do a dive over the top rope to the outside, I'm not doing it anymore. Everything that wrestling fans loved about Prince Devitt, he took away and decided to be this devilish, heelish character. And that's always worked in professional wrestling. And sometimes with wrestlers, it's accepted as, wow, this is beautiful. Bayley just did the same thing. She stripped her character completely and became the role model. And everyone loves Bayley. There's people on here talking about how she doesn't get her justice, how no one talks about her enough. For 8 years, we were given a version of Roman Reigns that no one liked. I was one of his very few fans who thought this dude in the ring can go with anybody. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson, AJ Styles. Every time he worked one of the top talents, they all came out of the match, even when they left the company, telling us how good he is. We've seen people trash wrestlers on the way out. But all the guys all say the same thing. Roman can go. Roman's one of the best on the planet. So Roman decides, I need to go heel, or else I'm never going to get over. I'm never going to work. And that's what he did. Another thing Roman Reigns did was he took everything you loved about the big dog and he turned it into the tribal chief. See, the big dog was like another version of Superman. He was almost like the Punisher. He beat you by himself because he was the guy. So he can't do that anymore. And I believe that Triple H is a troll's troll. One of the best trolls in the history of professional wrestling. So if you jump on the internet and complain that Roman can't win a match without Solo interrupting, that's what they're going to give us. Because it pisses you off, and because you make content, and because you tag it, hashtag WWE. So they hear it, and they're like, it's working. Now, you may not think that it serves a purpose to the story, but it absolutely works. Eric Bischoff once said, controversy creates cash. And in this instance, that's exactly what it's doing. Roman Reigns has taken everything that you loved about his character, or that you even liked, or you appreciated, and he said, nope, I'm going to be the worst version. I used to give you these 5-star matches with AJ Styles or Bryan Danielson or The Miz or Seth Rollins, and I'm going to take all that shit away from you, and I'm going to be like it used to be in the 80s. I'm going to be like the Brainbusters. I'm going to win matches slimy. I'm going to make matches boring. I'm going to slow it down because I need you to hate me. One thing that I've realized about professional wrestling is you can be a phenomenal heel, but if you're exceptional in the ring, it makes fans love you. You can be a phenomenal heel, and you could be exceptional on the mic, and it makes fans love you. We've seen this with two characters of different iterations in the history of pro wrestling, and I'm going to name them both. Will Ospreay was a massive heel, but his in-ring performance was so legendary, or is so legendary, that it forces fans to love him. He won't do what Finn Balor and Kenny Omega did. Let me flip the script and take all this shit you love about me. He won't do that because it'll take away from him because he's not that great on the mic. And The Rock. The Rock was hated. Everybody was like, this guy's a schmo. He's just another one of these machine-created characters. And he became the most electrifying man on the mic. This is how wrestling works. And I really wish that people would stop coming on the internet and saying, Roman can't work. They're just putting the title on someone. No, man. He can go with anybody. Roman Reigns can stand toe-to-toe with Kenny, Will, Bryan, AJ, Punk, the Bucks. Any of your top favorite wrestlers on the planet, Roman's right there with them. You're lying to yourself if you don't believe so. And the reason that Roman Reigns works as a character is because if he did what you asked him to do, which is win matches that he's not supposed to win on his own, if he didn't use this version of a character, he would be Seth Rollins. He wouldn't be Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins is phenomenal in the ring, but you get bored of him quickly. For 2 years, the man lost. Just lost. And everybody bitched and moaned and complained that he wasn't being respected. He's the best member of the Shield, and this is how you treat him. He won the World Heavyweight Championship and goes on this winning streak. And his first title defense, there are people complaining that Finn should have won the title. There are people complaining that Shinsuke should have won the title. There are people complaining right now that Drew should be champ. There's already, even though I was the first one, check my videos, I was the first one to say Sami Zayn was going to win the Money in the Bank. But there's people saying that Sami should beat him. You complained about Seth for 2 years. Now you want him to drop the championship every single time he works. That's why Roman is so much better as a character than Seth. Because your complaints are about one guy. You want one guy to beat Roman Reigns. And that's what makes an exceptional character. And I want to also point this out because I feel like our revisionist history has led us to just creating shit that isn't true. It's called the Mandela effect, right? Like in the movie E.T., he says E.T. home phone, but everybody thinks he says phone home. In Silence of the Lambs, people believe that Hannibal Lecter never blinks, but he blinks a lot during the movie. It's these things we've created. And one of the things that we've created is that Roman Reigns hasn't bashed the other championship his entire run. There is a great promo. You remember this promo, I promise you, where Roman Reigns talks to John Cena in the ring and he says, missionary might have been good enough for you for 20 years, but it wasn't good enough for Nikki Bella. In that promo, he bashes the WWE Championship. In that promo, he says, you might be good enough, John, to win the WWE Championship, but you're not good enough to win the Universal Championship. He has always put his title above any title because, like the old adage says, the title doesn't make the wrestler makes the title. That's how it works with Roman Reigns. He makes the title, and whatever title he's holding is the top title in the business. This is true of any wrestler of that caliber that's had it in the past. When Stone Cold had the championship, top title in the world. Hogan, top title in the world. Flair, top title in the world. Flair can go to another promotion with the championship and immediately he walks in, that championship is the most important championship in the company. So much so that Vince McMahon was like, you know what, you came in here with the NWA championship? Shit, man. Everybody loves that championship. What we got to do is we got to put our championship on you. You're going to win the Royal Rumble. Roman has always been this character. You guys just refuse to admit so. Please stop lying about the man and just appreciate him while he's here.